Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of Grace Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host as we spend this time together today. It's a joy to be with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for making this podcast a part of your day. And I want to thank you again for being on the journey, for being here, for being part of what we're doing, for giving this energy to yourself and lifting yourself up and paying attention to you. It is so powerful and so important that you're here and that you're giving yourself energy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for walking down this road. It is so incredible. And I'm so honored to be able to come alongside you. I'm so honored to offer something, to give something to the process. So thank you for allowing me to do that. And thank you for putting in the effort and the time and the energy. If this podcast is helpful to you, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. I post on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If you follow me or the life coaching on any one of those feeds, you're going to see the episodes. If you're on one of the listening platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, follow us, give us a rating and review. Every positive rating and review tells the platform people are listening, and you'll get notifications when a new episode comes out. And if you want to reach out to me directly, I'd love to hear from you. GraceLifeCoaching.com is the website. I would love to hear from you and experience where you're at. If I can come alongside you, if I can, help with some coaching or some questions or whatever, it'd be my honor. It'd be my joy to be able to do that. So please reach out to me. GraceLifeCoaching.com is the website. I would truly love to hear from you. That would be awesome and incredible. So I want to thank you for being here today. We're continuing on in this process talking about discipline, and we've been spending some time in it. We've talked about discipline in your habits, in your mindset, in your relationships, in your health, and the importance of discipline in all those places. Of course, I want to keep going because there's other places where we need to focus some discipline and something that helps shape our larger lives, and that is discipline in your work, in your career, in your purpose. Because whether you're building a business, working a job, leading others, or trying to find your direction, discipline is what turns potential into progress. So we're going to talk about that today. How to apply discipline to your work so you can move forward with clarity, consistency, and purpose. Whether that work is your own, working for someone else, running a household, running a career, finding purpose, this is the direction we want to go. Discipline is what turns potential into progress. And that's what we're looking for. We want progress. We want to move. We want to move with clarity, consistency, and purpose. So that's where we want to jump in. Potential alone doesn't create success. And we all know that. We all know that that's a hard truth. Potential alone does not create success. You can have talent. You can have ideas. You can have opportunities. But without discipline, nothing happens. Nothing moves. Nothing grows because potential is not enough. How many people out there, maybe you included, have great ideas, great possibilities, but never act on them? How many people start? Maybe you've done this too, starting but not following through, kind of stopping when it gets difficult. I see a lot of times people are like those little Roomba robots that clean the floor. As soon as they bump into something, they turn. Well, I've seen videos where, the robot will bump into the wall and turn in another direction, which is what it's supposed to, but also bump into like a pet's toy and turn when it should just push through. Okay. So how many people start something and then they don't follow through? Maybe that's you. Maybe you have a lot of ideas and you started, but then it gets a little bit difficult and you don't push through. Or wanting more. I think we all want more. I think we all want more out of life, more fulfillment, more joy, more interaction, more connection. But we just stay where we are. We just stay stuck. Why is that? It's discipline. It's discipline. The difference isn't talent, my friends. We're all talented. We all have something. It's not talent, it's discipline. Discipline turns intention into execution. And execution is what creates results. And that's what we want to look at. That's what we want to get on the truth here, is that we can have all the talent in the world, all the potential in the world, but if we don't have the discipline to apply it, then we're not going to go anywhere. Talent itself is not going to continue to create opportunity. Discipline does. I think his story is of Kobe Bryant when he played for the LA Lakers. Now, Kobe Bryant was one of the most natural, talented basketball players on the court. And one would think, he just shows up for the game, plays the game, goes home to his mansion and lives life. But no, Kobe Bryant was on the court before everybody else, and he was there after everybody else. He was disciplined in his work. Discipline is what turns intention into execution. Discipline is what takes talent and potential and brings it into reality. But one of the biggest challenges about discipline, one of the biggest things that we challenge in our world today is focus. Focus and discipline go hand in hand. You can't be unfocused and have discipline. Discipline is created from focus, and focus creates discipline. Okay? So we want to talk about focus because we live in a world of constant distraction. Notifications and emails and social media and endless information. All of that just permeates into our world every day. We fight it every day. We confront it every day. This massive amount of distraction. Without discipline, your attention gets pulled in every direction. There's a lot of study that indicates that if you're working on something, if you're doing something and you're focused on it and you get distracted, it takes up to 15 minutes to return your focus back to where you were when you were distracted. So a 30-second distraction or a 3-second distraction can derail 15 minutes of focused work. All right. So we live in this world of distraction. Without discipline, your attention gets pulled in every direction. So if you want to be disciplined in your thoughts, in your work, then there's some things that you can do, because it's not that you're busy, you're busy but not productive. You're active but not effective. That's the problem. So what's the solution? Treat focus as discipline. Treat focus as something important. Create practical strategies in order to do this. Remember we talked about nutrition, and being disciplined in our nutrition. We need to build structures that allow us to be disciplined in nutrition. And part of those structures are eradicating those things that we know we're going to eat that aren't good for us. Well, focus is the same thing. If we treat structures of focus the same way, we're far more successful. So create practical strategies and build focus structures. Block time for deep work. Block time for deep work, 30 to 60 minutes. Block time for deep work. I talked about the Pomodoro technique some time back, where 25 minutes of deep work, 5 minutes of stepping away, 25 minutes of deep work, 5 minutes of stepping away. Doing that 3 times. So you have 90 minutes of deep work where no distractions. So 25 minutes, you're distraction free. And then for 5 minutes, you get up and take a walk, or you don't go to your phone or social media. You just get away from the work for 5 minutes and come back. All right. So 30 to 60 minutes of work. That's a 90-minute time block, the Pomodoro technique. Do it 3 times in a row. But create a time block for deep work. No distractions, one task, get it done. Turn off notifications if you need to. Put your phone on airplane mode, or stick it in a drawer in the kitchen or whatever. Close unnecessary tabs on your computer. Commit to work. And if you work in a loud place and you're like, I can't do that, then get noise canceling headphones. And put on something very minimal, a binary beat on YouTube, or some cello music, or something that isn't going to distract you, but it's going to focus you. Because here's the truth. Where your attention goes, your progress follows. So you want to create practical strategies of having good, deep work, good, deep focus. Close those unnecessary tabs, turn off those notifications, and commit to the work. Commit to the work for a very specific period of time. And what you'll do is you'll see your focus grow. You'll see your capabilities grow. And that's really what you're looking for. That's what we're all looking for, is the capability of growth, having that focus and that growth. Okay? Practical strategies. All right. And so, where your attention goes, your progress follows. That's how it works. And one of the things about discipline in your career, it's not about doing what you do when people are watching. We have this, idea of success and everybody's seeing it. No, discipline is about what you do when they're not watching, when they're alone. My primary job as a clergy person, 90% of what I do, nobody sees. The prayer, the writing, the preparation, the creation, the planning, all of that stuff, it all happens individually. I do it myself. And then the outcome is what people see. So discipline, good focused discipline, is showing up when no one else is watching. Preparing when no one else asks you to do it. Improving your skills consistently, even if there's no carrot at the end of that string except for you being better. Finishing tasks with excellence, not just getting them done. Doing the extra work that others avoid. Now, you can apply this to a career, okay? You're working for a company, or you can also apply it to your own business. If you're starting your own business or running your own business, you can apply it to your household. You can apply it to your relationships, all right? All of these things. Preparing for the day in your household when no one is asked you to, when no one is watching. Improving your skills consistently and continually. Finishing tasks with excellence. These don't just have to be at your desk. They can be for your business. They can be for your relationships. This is where growth happens. Growth happens not in the spotlight. It happens in the unseen effort. I mean, think about it. We spent a good series on spring here before we got into discipline. We talked about growth and how the world grows. We don't see the trees bud and bloom and grow. We wake up and see them. Growth happens when nobody sees it, all right? And that should be the same for you, but you need to be disciplined in that. Your future is built on the work that no one sees. Okay? Your future is built on the work that no one sees, whether it's your career, your health, your mental health, all of that. No one sees. No one sees the work, but you put the work in anyway. That's where discipline comes in. And over time, that effort separates you, not because you're different, but because you're consistent. The consistency that you apply when no one sees is a powerful thing to help you grow into a better, stronger future, a better, stronger worker, a better, stronger business owner, a better, stronger friend. So you want to do the work. Do the work even when no one sees it. Show up for yourself and be disciplined even when no one is watching. Because that can also create purpose. Work is one thing. We got to go to work. We got to pay our bills, right? But we also want to have purpose. We want to have purpose in life. Why do I exist? Why am I here? The great existential questions. Why am I here? Where am I going? What bus am I going to take to get there? What is my purpose? So let's talk about that. Because many people feel stuck because they're waiting for clarity. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity, waiting for the right moment, waiting to feel ready. Okay, they're waiting for something to happen in order for their purpose to come along. But here's the truth. Clarity comes through action. Purpose comes through action, not before it. We don't gain clarity and purpose waiting. We gain clarity and purpose acting, usually acting and failing and acting again and failing and trying until we find the right thing. And discipline helps us move, even when things are uncertain. That's the thing. You got to move. As you move, you learn, you adjust, you grow. There's an old saying that says that 20 minutes of action is equal to, if not better than 20 minutes of thinking about it, or 20 hours of thinking about it. Okay? Action is necessary. You can sit around and think about something all day. But if you're not doing it, then you don't learn, you don't adjust, and you don't grow. Discipline helps you move. And even when things are uncertain, movement helps you learn and adjust and grow. And that's how we live into our purpose. Sometimes we don't know our purpose because we haven't moved. You don't find a purpose by thinking about it endlessly. You find it by trying things, taking steps, learning from experiences. Movement creates clarity. And discipline is what keeps you moving, particularly when you don't want to. So let's pin this down into some practical things that we can do. Practical work disciplines, all right? Let's create, there's some systems, there's some systems out there that can really help do it, can really help find it. So there's the top 3 method, all right? This is a really easy thing to do. Each day, identify for yourself the 3 most important tasks that you need to complete. Not 10, not everything, just 3. I don't know about you, but I'm a list guy. I like writing lists. I have a digital calendar. I have a calendar on my desk. I have a list. I have a notepad with the list of things that I have to do on my desk down to the level, blah, blah, blah. All right. But on my list, it's listed in order of most importance. So, and it's a pretty comprehensive list, but the most important things are at the top and then they go down from there. Okay, but I've been doing this for a while. If you haven't been doing this for a while, then I would just encourage you the top 3 method. Not 10, not everything, just 3. What are the 3 most important tasks you need to complete in the day? Now, and I'm talking more along the lines of work, career, purpose. I mean, it is an important task to eat. It is an important task to clean ourselves. It is an important task to take care of our family. Yeah, I'm not talking about that per much as I am talking about the 3 most important tasks you have for work for the day. Not 10, not everything, just 3. And then do them. Do them first. Do them right away. This is that time block I was talking about earlier. Fully focus on them and finish what you start. Okay? So identify those 3 things that are most important. Focus fully on them and finish them. Get them done. This creates clarity. It builds momentum and it strengthens discipline. We have these tasks to do. And you know what? Even if you don't feel like doing them, and that's really kind of one of the things. It's like, I have to do this really big thing, but I don't feel like doing it. Well, it doesn't matter whether you feel like doing it. You have to do it. So don't let your feelings drive your momentum. I spent a lot of time, in my early part of my career dealing with this because there are just some things I don't like to do. I don't like to write reports. I don't like to write things that I feel nobody's going to read. So for a long time, I'm like, I have to do this, but I just don't feel like it. Air quote, feel like it. All right. So I would struggle with it. And what should take me 20 minutes would take me 2 hours because I was fighting against myself. It's like, I don't feel like doing this. So finally, I had to have a heart-to-heart with myself and say, it doesn't matter what you feel like, you have to do it. So just put your head down and do it. Just take the 20 minutes, grit your teeth, put it out there, and be done with it. Because you have your entire day to do these other things, but it's wasted when you're just fighting these 20 minutes that you don't want to do. So put your head down and do it. I don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. Okay? So the top 3 method, write down the 3 most important tasks you need to complete for work or your business. Maybe it's social media posts. Maybe it's recording a podcast. Maybe it is writing, financial reports, whatever. Take the time. Block out the time, do it, give it full focus, full attention, finish what you start, and be done, and push it aside. This creates clarity. It really does create clarity inside yourself about what I really want to do, what I really like to do, where I really want to put my energy. It builds momentum because now you've gotten those things out of the way, you've got movement, you've got energy, and it strengthens your discipline. Look, I did this. Even though I didn't want to do it, I did it. I invested in it. Progress is built by focusing on what matters most. And you want to focus on those main tasks, get them done, get them out of the way, and progress. So ask yourself, where in my work am I relying on motivation instead of discipline? Am I focused or distracted? Consistent or inconsistent? And what is one action I can take to move forward? You're here because you want to be better. You're here because you want to change. That is not to say that where you're at is wrong, bad, or negative, but you're here because you want to change. So what is that one area that you can adjust, that you can focus on? Where are you relying on motivation over discipline? I mean, like I said before, I don't feel like doing it. It doesn't matter what you feel like, do it. Put your head down, do it, get it done, and move on. Where are you relying on motivation instead of discipline? And where's your distractions? What are distracting you? It's time to level up and get rid of those distractions. Your career grows in portion to your discipline. Whatever discipline you bring, it helps to grow your career. Again, whether this is in a business, whether it's your own stuff, whether it's working for someone else, all of those things require discipline. So where you need to grow and where you need to get away from motivation and add discipline, those are the questions you need to ask. Those are the things that you want to ask yourself. So that's what I got for you for today, my friends. Thank you for being here. Thanks for participating. If this podcast is helpful, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. If you're listening on one of the listening platforms, follow us, give us a rating and review. If you want to reach out to me directly, GraceLifeCoaching.com is the website. I truly would love to hear from you because at Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.